Hey, everybody.
Hey,
Good
John.
afternoon. Hey, Dave. How are you today?
Great. Welcome back to the jump seat, man.
Fantastic. Good to hear. I'm actually sitting outside today because I know winter is knocking and it's 60 degrees, so I'm going to take advantage.
Absolutely. Embrace it while we can. Embrace it. I
Yeah,
think we talked about that last week a little bit too, and the
yep,
weather that's been changing around us all around. So,
that's right. Yeah, and for everybody joining, welcome to the Jump Seat. It's a weekly spotlight bringing you key industry thought leaders, subject matter experts, and next-gen insights affecting both you and your fire department. Hosted by two Jump Seat firefighters, myself, John Martins, along with my co-host here, Dave Durstein. And we are here today for number 29, in fact. And so we've got another great topic. Actually, and before we get into that, we're going to pick up from it was number 7, actually, when we brought in Jeff. So we'll get to Jeff in just a minute to talk on a new topic within the Hale products world. But Dave, real quick, what are some happenings in our fire service this week?
yeah, you know what? There was some big news this week, and I don't know if this has ever been done before, but I thought it was kind of cool and thought it's worth sharing here. And giving a shout out to Heidi Charist. So Heidi is, she actually just recently competed here, and she is a firefighter with Ladies Island St. Helena Fire Department, Fire District, correction there, in South Carolina. And she just competed in the Firefighter Combat Challenge here just a couple weeks ago. And not only did she win the open female division, she actually won 3 world titles at one time there. She won the open female division, the over 40 female division, and then her, along with a male counterpart from a Texas fire department, it wasn't disclosed in the article I saw on her, actually won the male-female tandem division. So
Wow.
I think it's just pretty cool. The Firefighter Combat Challenge, if you guys have not ever done it or done an obstacle course similar to that, it's quite the challenge, really. When they say the Firefighters Combat Challenge, they mean it, John. Have you ever done that?
Yeah, so I've done some stuff, both CPAT testing through the years and then some other stuff with academies I've been through. And yeah, no doubt, let's say it this way, it looks a lot easier than it is. And for anybody that can do that, you've got to be at a certain level of fitness, obviously. And that's a big important thing in our fire service. And congrats to Heidi. That's amazing. So pretty impressive.
Yeah, it really truly is. So a huge accomplishment, and so from John and myself, a big shout out and high five there to Heidi. So John, I think I lost you there for a second. Are you back?
I'm back. Yeah, can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, you kind of froze up there for a minute, which is all right. But the fun of technology these days can make it challenging on us all.
Yes.
One of the things we can use with technology, though, is some of these cool features that we have within the tool we utilize to come to you viewers here live. And so we've got an awesome guest here today. And before we actually introduce him, I just want to actually say, hey, if you guys are watching, you guys have questions throughout the show, you have comments throughout the show, throw it in the comments fields right at the bottom of whatever avenue you're watching from. If it's Facebook, if it's YouTube, chat away, and we actually can see those in real time. And so one of the things we'll do today is if questions come up or things you want to ask of ourselves or our guests, shoot them at us, and we're going to try to address them as they come available today as well. So we're watching viewers kind of join on. I'm seeing the live viewers tick up a little bit here. So thank you all for joining us on the jump seat. John, who's joining us in the back of the truck today?
Absolutely. I'm gonna go ahead and bring Jeff in. And for those who for the followers of the jump seat, you may see a familiar face here. This is Jeff Van Meter. Jeff Van Meter comes to us from Ocala, Florida today, and he's part of our Hale team there. And for those who don't know from last time, you can check out number 7, jump seat episode number 7, where we discussed specifically, we talked about pump performance and efficiency with Jeff. So he may look familiar. He's back. We didn't scare him off too bad last time, I guess. So that's a good thing.
Jeff, welcome back to the jump seat, buddy.
Yeah, Jeff, thanks.
Thanks for having me again. I'm inside because it's actually hot here, so we'll still have warm weather for quite some time in Florida.
Well, you take advantage of that, and we'll send some snow your way here soon. But I think, John, you know what's kind of funny about this? I'm just thinking, Jeff is our first two-time guest in the jump seat. So
Yes, he is.
yeah, go ahead and put the rally cap on for that one. Way to be there, Jeff.
Do I get an award?
You get an attaboy. You get an attaboy from both of us. So welcome back. We're glad to have you here. And, you know, it's an interesting topic we got here today. But before we jump into that, Jeff, just give a quick overview for those of you who don't know you, who didn't catch you on the earlier episode. Who are you? Where are you coming to us from? And what's your background?
So, of course, Jeff Van Meter. I work at the Hale facility in Ocala, Florida. I started here 14 years ago as an engineer and have moved through the company in various roles. I've from engineering did operations management for actually what we're going to be talking about here in a sec for the pump modules. I've worked in sales and finally ended up in product management. And you know, now I have worked there with a couple of fine folks, and we decided the strategy for all of our products that we have.
It's fantastic.
Perfect.
Yeah, and this topic, and I'm glad we're doing this because this is something we are seeing more of. And for the lay person, or even me as a few years ago when I was in the career side of firefighting, I didn't necessarily know what this was. I didn't know what it did for me as somebody pumping a truck, right? So the topic of pump modules is very expansive, and it could take a lot of time. So per usual, the jump seat is a short period of time. So what we're going to focus on today is really a high level of this. With future, we may dive into some other avenues. But yeah, today we want to really define what this is, define what it means to your department, and how it can be a tool that maybe you didn't know about, that it even existed. So great topic here. I'm going to go ahead and put up our first question here. What defines a pump module? A lot of people think it's just a pump. Jeff, what is it?
Yeah, what the Hale is a pump module, Jeff?
The Hale is a pump module. So the pump module is actually the business end of the water moving of the fire truck. So it is where the pump is stored. It's where all the electronics are. It has all of the linkages to control the valves. Basically, it houses everything. And if you look at the side of a fire truck, you have your cab, and then of course you have the center part. And usually it's shiny, sometimes it's black, but it's the center part, and that's really what is considered the pump module. And so the benefits of this pump module are, here is showing a F550 chassis. Basically, you bring the chassis in and you lay that pump module down on the truck, and it houses everything you need except for the water tank, which is usually carried in the back of the truck.
So, Jeff, with that being said, we're seeing more and more OEMs kind of move away from traditional frame-on builds, and maybe I'll let you establish what that is to the listeners here and the followers. Frame-on builds and moving more towards pump modules, and why is this increasing popularity there? Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Well, we really believe that it is increasing because it's the ease of installation. So you think about, you're installing this whole pump module, you have 360 degrees of access to be able to get to it while you build it. If you build the traditional style where you build frame up, you put the pump on there, and then you start doing valves and plumbing, and then you put the body on there. You really closed access unless it's a tilt cab or you don't have the body on yet. So this gives you a lot more access to be able to do it properly. And then really you're testing it before you even put it on the fire truck. So if you have any leaks or anything, you handle it right then. A lot better, a lot easier access.
Yeah, I think you make several good points about that right there, and the accessibility of it, and that frame. Whenever you mount that pump to the frame, even if you think about longer term, like repairability or enhancements, or let's say even upgrading technology down the road, in a pump module, it's modular, right? So you can actually remove that whole center section, put a new one in, we've actually seen that to a degree with the London Fire Brigade, Jeff. And I know we didn't talk about this in the pre-call, but it clicked in my head here. So one of our sister companies, Godiva in the UK, was utilizing a modular concept for quick swap outs of rear-mounted pumps in a modular design in London, and I think you were part of that to a degree. But the unique thing there is they had it set for service time that they could swap out a whole pump area in about 40 minutes time, if I remember correctly. And correct me if I'm wrong there, Jeff. I know that was a key piece of that puzzle.
Yeah, I don't know the time there, but one of the things they did with that one is they had forklift access. So instead of working on a pump, they would bring the truck in, pull the entire pump out. That's pump with controls and everything. Pull it out and work it on the bench and have a spare one that they put back in the truck. That way the truck is back in service and it's not just sitting around the shop, because that's valuable time. And so it really simplifies it. We've seen the same thing with pump modules that, a truck gets in an accident, something happens. We can easily swap that out, or, on the other end of that, when you're doing refurbs, it's very easy to pull off the old pump module and just put a new pump module on there. Very quick, easy, and efficient.
Yeah, all interesting pieces of that puzzle, and really, it's not something that only Hale does. I think most of the OEMs are building in that manner now, if I'm correct, right?
Yeah, yes, they are. We've seen a big push in there, getting away from that frame-on installation. I think as more OEMs look at lean, I think that's why they're moving that route.
Jeff, talk to us a little bit about flow efficiency. I know we talked some about that last time within the pump, within our Hale products and our pumps, but that's not just where efficiency matters, is it?
No, and so we talked about the QMax, and here's another picture of a pump module finished out. So you can see here, service is key. So we want to make sure that you can get in there, and you could have a couple of people fit in there if they were more your size, John, less of Dave's size.
Yeah, easy now, easy.
But so when we look at how the pump modules develop, we really developed that around the QMax. So the QMax, we have one cast iron body. So bringing water in, we have those dual-eyed impellers. So really, we're bringing in a very efficient water. And then from a discharge side of it, we have dual cut waters. And here in blue, you can see our discharge manifold. And so what this means for us is that large body, we're able to discharge the water where that water is going to be used. So from a pump module standpoint, we can add valves right onto the end of the pump with, just the adapter to get it to the right valve size, and work bringing water out of the pump module. So, the pump itself lends its way into efficient feeding of water in a pump module. So kind of, with the QMax, you can see in blue, we have a lot more open ports here, right? So it makes manifolding very easy. So one of the things that we've done in pump modules is, in silver in the front of this, you can see that there's a whole bunch of plumbing. So these are like plug and play. I like to think of them as Lego. So we have what we call the left side and the right side of the manifolds. That there's a whole bunch of different iterations of that. So you can just pick one, put it on there. And if someone says, hey, I really want to add a jump line, you take that one off and you throw this other one on there. So it makes it really easy for us to outfit it. And plus, with all of those ports, we can make sure that every discharge we put on there is going to get the flow it needs to get. And it being Legos, it's tested Legos. So we know the exact flow you're going to get out of that rear discharge every time.
So for those that are watching that haven't got to see one of these, Jeff here kind of chime in, but it basically ships pre-tested to the builder, any builder, on a cart, similar to what we see, correct?
Yep. So, we put everything together. We make sure it's hydrostatically tested. We do an electrical test to make sure everything works together. And of course, in all of this stuff, we own all of the equipment here. So, we own the valves, we own the electronics, we own the pump. So we know that these pieces are designed to work together. So we're not going to put a piece in there that maybe wasn't meant to be in there. Let's say, for example, a pressure relief valve that's not made for the flow of pump that you put on there. Since those are our equipment, we know exactly what to put there.
And so that is one of those true advantages from the IDEX fire and safety perspective, right? So it's the advantage of controlling everything from the moment it comes in the intake all the way to the discharge, and the engineers at Hale can actually completely optimize that system to be the most efficient flow and maximize the true performance of the pump and more or less maybe the pumping system, right?
Correct. And so, this is like a traditional, what we call a pump kit. So basically, we can sell a pump all the way up to a pump module and anywhere in between. So you could say, hey, I want that without any hoses. But you can see we also do it in different style pumps. So this is a RSDJ, or also a DSD has that same looking manifold. And what you'll find here is that front manifold I pointed out earlier, we're using it on this pump. So we've created castings which mimic the output on QMax so that there's some standardization beyond what you see. So on a pump panel, it really doesn't look any different.
So when you kind of break this down, what is the true benefit to the fire department, Jeff? Why should I go down the path of really focusing in my module when I'm speccing a truck, when I'm building a truck? What's the benefit of those modules to the fire department?
That's a good question. So I'm going to skip this slide of this sidekick pump module, which it just looks different. So really the benefit to the department is, so for every module that is done, there's a drawing that corresponds with that module. And what you'll see here is it's completely designed with every discharge, every panel. So, depending on if the truck's made on a Monday or truck's made on a Friday, the business end is always going to look the same. So when you're on the fire ground, you know exactly how to make that work.
Well, and it's not uncommon for trucks to look the same or similar outside the pump house, but you're saying even inside the pump house.
Even inside
right?
the pump house. Yeah, because you can see here in the drawing at the center, even the plumbing is designed into these so that it is repeatable every time. And so what that also means is with this one drawing, anyone in fleet maintenance can order a part because it's going to be the same. So it's not custom for each build. It is a part number that we have in the system that's easily replaceable.
Oh, so if I'm hearing you right, not only do I get flow efficiency from a Hale pump module, you get the full optimization of it and the solution provider, but also I get standardized components as well as standardized operational aspects.
Absolutely, and NFPA compliance, which everyone's going for.
Absolutely,
so we're going to ensure that we don't do anything in there that doesn't meet NFPA.
Yeah.
Hey, really quick before we jump on too much further here, I just want to say, hey, Reese, thank you, and to the Carlisle Fire and Rescue for jumping on and watching us here today. We're glad you guys are here. And for those of you guys who are watching live, please feel free to comment or ask questions if you have something. We will try to address them here online as we do see them feed in as they pop up. So Reese, I'm glad you're on here, and hope everybody's well in Carlisle Fire and Rescue. So Jeff, as we kind of bake through these modules, right? We've talked about, hey, it's a growing trend. More and more the OEMs are building. They don't have to get them from just Hale. They're all doing them. But at Hale, we take a few extra steps to optimize that process and system. But what are the latest trends that we're seeing? Why is that popularity maybe growing a little bit more? What are those trends in these pump modules holistically?
So actually, one of them you see is shown here, or was shown there.
Oh, here, we'll get it. There we go. Sorry, Jeff.
So what we're seeing is the rescue bodies taking off. So what you see here is a roll-up door body. And we're seeing a lot more of roll-up door bodies to match the rescue side of that. And we're also seeing where, because they're trying to use rescue bodies, they're trying to shrink things up. So, what you see here is a very efficient 34-inch pump package that gets you everything you need. You can rate it at 2250 GPM, but it's still a compact package and fits on those roll-up doors.
Yeah, so you if I heard you right, 34 inches from the front of the module to the back of the module.
Correct.
Right. And I mean, okay, Jeff, I have a good feeling of understanding what people use in the industry, but What is that from a traditional one? I think, right, 42 inches is probably the most common typical front to back width.
42 to 48 is pretty common.
Yeah, and this is 34, you're saying, and what we're viewing here right now, rescue body, and still has the capabilities of 2,250 gallons per minute.
Correct. So you're still going to get lots of flow, and you're not going to have any issues fitting everything that you need in that.
So if I heard you right here too, this one had roll-up doors on it, and I know from my standpoint, it's one of the easy things I can reflect on here in the Midwest. This time of year, we got corn being harvested, beans being harvested, so we've got dust everywhere. And then you top it all off here in a couple weeks, we're gonna have snow flying, and we have to worry about salt, road grime, and all the other craziness that goes along with winter weather and grime. And so, one of those big advantages of the roll-up doors, obviously, is you can cover the whole thing, keep the controls and everything from getting exposed to all the weather and the elements.
Yeah, absolutely. We don't have the same thing with snow in Florida, but I guess you have to worry about the Florida man that's all over the news from getting in there. So at least you can shut them out.
There you go.
Yeah. Well, and what it sounds like to me, it's an added benefit here to our entire fire service. And that's, in a way, we're able to break the bounds of what was and do more, have more capability, and meet unique needs that maybe we couldn't have met years ago before we had these programs and these module teams within Hale.
Yeah, I mean, you see it industry wide that people are thinking outside the box, and they're trying to get these things in smaller packages and trying to make it modular so that you can replace things and everything works together.
So, Jeff, obviously, what other trends are you seeing? So compactness, in the width, there is one.
Yeah, so you see here another one is compactness with F550. So we're seeing a resurgence in mini pumpers, and so F550s are very popular. Dodge 5500s are coming on right now. So you're seeing that, hey, I know that I'm going to be doing a lot of calls and I'm trying to save some money, and one of the great ways to do that is with a Ford chassis.
Interesting. You mentioned a couple of things there, and for those of you who follow us regularly online, if you guys jump back, we actually showed a couple of those smaller trucks when we were doing the Fouts Brothers factory tour, as well as Spencer Manufacturing was doing one when we went through their plan as well. Right. So I didn't mean to distract you there, Jeff. I knew you had an additional piece to show, but just wanted to remind everybody who's been watching along.
I mean, yeah, so I appreciate that. The thing you have to think about when you do an F550 though is how you're going to get access. So typical fire apparatus, you have that tilt cab, and you can get in there. Once you put the body on there, you're not getting at it from the rear. So one of the things that we've designed into some of our packages, or what you see here in the top right, is we can pull that top off so that we can get access to that pump module and get in there and maintain anything that we need to maintain. So that's one of the key things you want to do. And with a standard repeatable design, we're able to design some neat features in there that, benefit everyone that buys that program.
It's definitely a huge advantage. And, we've joked many times before on the show, or even just in our tech event before this, from a maintenance perspective, hey, Jeff, hold my toes. I'm going into the pump module, because sometimes they get a lot of stuff compacted in there and not easy to access. This is an interesting application and technique for that.
Yeah, I've been uncomfortable in many of an apparatus trying to get to stuff.
Yeah.
And so really, like, the next thing we see, I'm sure you've had Jason Serrano on the jump seat, and you've talked about SAM, but really that is also transforming pump modules. So what you see here is a SAM pump module. And it's also 34, just like the roll-up door. But one of the benefits that SAM gives you is you're no longer tied to that pump panel that you've had in the past. So you can really get unique architecture for the pump module. Here we have cross lays, but you could actually do speed lays up there, bring the speed lays down really low. And it just really opens up what we're able to do, because we no longer have to worry about the linkages.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah, pump panel used to have to touch a pump.
Yeah,
What you held had to touch a pump, and today it's just we've expanded what capabilities just weren't there before. We've had electric valves, but it was not the same, right? And so Sam, as he said, is truly, if anybody hasn't seen it, check out Sam Flows, SAMFLOWS.com, or check out our episode with Jason Serrano about the Sam system. It tells the story of why he built it, what it's for, what benefits it adds to the fire ground.
Yeah, and for us building pump modules, one of the benefits it gives us is we can put that valve exactly where it needs to be to give the best flow, and not necessarily so that we could get a linkage to it. And so that's a big thing. You'll see use of bell cranks or bent linkages. Well, with that electric valve, we put it right in line, right where it needs to go, and you're going to get the most flow you have. So that when you are doing your UL test or your NFPA yearly test, you're not worrying if your pump's going to make rating. You know it will.
That's right.
That's a great reassurance, and really, I think it helps to that value of uptime. One of the big things we hear from fire departments is, hey, I want to keep my fleet up. I want to keep it running. I want to keep it in service. Kind of what I just reiterated back to like London Fire Brigade with that forklift style module you talked about. Uptime was the key, keeping them in service.
It's all about keeping them in service.
Right. That's right. I was going to too, just for anybody across the different regions that wants to get in touch with their rep, I was just going to show a quick way. If you don't know who your local regional IDEX fire and safety rep is, I just was going to share my screen here. So for anybody needing to get in touch, if you go to haleproducts.com up here, all you got to do then is hit find a local product expert. You use your zip code and click region here, use your zip code, and right then and there, you'll get their phone number and email, and we'd be happy to come meet with you guys. I'm one of the regional guys in the Midwest, but obviously we have guys all over just for this reason, as well as people like Jeff for when it's questions that we may not know right out of the get-go. So great team with Hale down in Ocala and across the other regional guys as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so that was for more information on that or your local rep, haleproducts.com, and you can search that easily right there as well. Jeff, we talked a little bit there in the trends. You were seeing things, smaller pump modules, accessibility for maintenance. One of the questions I guess I throw back, what are they doing with this extra space? If they're making them smaller, more narrow, are they making the truck shorter? Are they what's happening with the apparatus that benefits them from that?
In most cases, the apparatus aren't getting shorter. So they've already designed the firehouse for a certain length of vehicle. So what they're actually doing is they're putting more stuff in it. So if you think about a fire truck is a toolbox for one thing, it allows you to have a bigger toolbox. You shrink up the pump panel, you're able to put more stuff in there. As we see the fire apparatus become multifaceted, not only are there firefighters, but they're EMS. You have all of that other equipment that you need to have.
Yeah, that's a great point. And I should have done it ahead of time, just even thinking about this, what that square footage or cubic open area that you actually expand on a truck is. But you think about it, if you said I had a 48-inch panel, I went to 34, 14 inches of width in a 8-foot area by 24 inches deep is pretty significant. And what's the smallest module that somebody could get today?
That 24-inch, and we like to call it the big skinny. That's because it's big on features, but it's skinny. So
24 inches in width, front to back. So it right there, you're picking up almost 20 inches over the common 42 inches, let alone, 24 inches of space, which is, a traditional compartment in some applications.
Yep. Right.
So that is huge that you can actually gain by going to some of these smaller modules.
Without sacrificing an ounce of flow or discharge space. I mean, it's pretty exciting stuff. And I was going to also point out for anybody who wants to learn more on this stuff, we talked about how to get in touch with your rep, but we also have some other jump seats we hinted at earlier on in the year that we had done. Episode number 5 was in May, and that'll show some more behind. It was a tour with Spencer Manufacturing, as well as number 9, jump seat number 9, and that was at Fouts Brothers, where they're actually building these in real time along the line in the tour. So check that out for sure. And then Jeff also was featured in number 7, as I mentioned. So if you want to learn more about the pumps and the efficiency within the pumps, number 7 is another good live cast to go back and watch.
So Jeff, I just want to say thank you for being on the jump seat, not only once, but now twice officially. It's always great to have you here. We do enjoy getting to talk with you a little bit more and understanding some of the cool technology behind the products you help engineer and design and work with customers every single day.
Well, again, thanks for having me. I will be looking for my award in the mail or something. Maybe like buy one, get one tacos, something for me, because I was the first one to go too.
I'll send you some snow once it's here if you want.
No, thank you.
Okay. All right.
Well, Jeff, thank you very much again. Glad having you here, buddy. And John, as we kind of look for next week, it's shaping up to be an awesome event.
Yes.
I kind of hinted to you a little bit about what I've got in the works, and I haven't really disclosed everything to John because I've been coercing some key folks in the background to join us in the jump seat next week. And so we're not going to have one guest. We're going to have 2. For episode 30, that first big, huge step in the right direction towards kicking off the second half of a year for us, we're going to have 2 guests. And they're no little guests either. So for those of you who are partial to the extrication world, we're going to have 2 incredible extrication experts joining us in Toot Lee and Jason DeFosse. They're incredible guys, very knowledgeable in the extrication space. And so they're going to be joining us in the jump seat to do a little bit of a breakdown on practicing the way you use the tools, and also some other techniques and things to think about and consider in the extrication world as we face new modern metals and technologies in cars every single day.
Yes, very important topic, and it's evolving. It's a living, breathing industry. Like you said, there's new variables that come out every year or more that our tools, we need to know what these new introductions into our industry, what we might experience on a call, what we may be seeing, and how we're going to handle that.
Yeah, so we got 2 great people to have on here. I'm looking forward to it. It should be a blast. So if you're following us here still, or if you watch us here after we're done with the live portion of the show, you're rewatching our show. Don't miss next week. I promise you, it's going to be great with Toot and Jason, 2 incredible guests, and we'll be glad to have them on the show.
Absolutely. And for everybody out there that tuned in again, thank you for joining. Please share and comment if you guys have other topics that you'd like to see that we haven't hit. We've hit a lot, but I know there's other topics out there that we just haven't gotten to. Let us know. And if you think of questions later on about this, let us know. We'll get you in touch. You can find us on Facebook, of course, as well as our YouTube page and the IDEX Fire and Safety blog. And for everybody out there, have a safe weekend. And we will see you next Friday, same time, same place. And it's going to be fun. Take care, everybody.
See you, everybody.